Hello and welcome everyone to Politically Unhinged. As always, my name is Anthony Rader. Now, let's get to talking what has been going on lately. Now, some other things have been going on in the news, whether if it's Gen Z going ahead and siding with the evils that are known as Palestine and Bin Laden. So, let's talk about this, what's going on. Now, do you think it's because Gen Z doesn't remember 9/11? Do you think it's because Gen Z has been brainwashed to think all this different stuff? Now, it's time to figure out what's going on here. So, what we're going over today is the Osama bin Laden's letter to America and seeing why these Gen Zers and these Gen Alphas think that Osama was right, that we should have gone ahead and supported Osama in this instance. Now, it has gotten so bad that TikTok has actually taken down this stuff of relating to the Osama bin Laden takes. So, why are more Gen Zers actually aligning themselves with someone that is as evil as him? Now, there's a whole bunch of different reasons that we could say that they are. Is it because we're in an idiocracy? Most likely. Is it because that they have been brainwashed from the very, very beginning to say that America is evil and whatever America does is wrong? Well, this is just some of the things that I believe is the reason why, yeah, Gen Zers are going ahead and they are supporting these evils. So let's get to business and read Osama's terrible freaking letter to the United States that a bunch of Gen Zers are saying that yes, he was in fact right. So let's get this started. Okay. Osama's letter to the American people, everyone. In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful, to the American people, peace be upon who follow righteous track hereafter. The subject of my talk to you is the overwhelmingly control of capital, their money. So, verbiage for you people that don't understand, and its effect on ongoing war between us. I directly I direct my talk specifically to those who support real change, so specifically the youth. All right. Okay. Sorry, Hollings spit foam. What? No, I am not supporting your stupid frickin' and spamming that you're gonna be doing on TikTok for not on TikTok, Twitch for me. First of all, no, I'm doing my thing. I don't want someone to go ahead and tell me that I cannot do what I want. So, no, thank you. I'm here to speak the truth and tell people the truth. I am not here to go ahead and bow down to these people. All right. So let's get back to this. I direct my talk specifically to those who support real change. Yeah, especially the youth. See, he's targeting them. So I say from the onset, from your former president warned you previously about the devastating Jewish control of the capital and about a day that would come when it would enslave you. It has happened. Guess what has happened now, because this is what he was actually trying to do. Osama was going ahead and trying to go ahead and you know enslave the youth. He is going to go ahead and say that, oh, it was the Jews that did it. No, the man is enslaving the youth now. So, and it keeps on bringing it up because, as you see, Sharia here, Sharia law is a type of enslavement. So, your current president warns you now that the enormity of the capital control, and it has a cycle whereby it devours humanity when it's devoid of the precepts of God's law. Sharia. Sharia law is tyrannical. That is a fact. Now, keep on going. The tyranny of the control of the capital by large companies has harmed your economy as it did ours. And that was my motivation for this talk. Look, what has happened is that the government has allowed these monopolies to happen. However, our economy is not just because of the large few companies. That is factual. Now, the reason why all of these stupid Gen Zers that don't understand what's actually going on align themselves with this guy is because they are taught to just go ahead and, be brainwashed. Go ahead and believe what the U.S. media says, what the U.S. government says, go ahead and listen to the people that want America gone. Tens of millions of you are below the poverty line. Millions have lost their homes, and millions have lost their jobs to mark the highest average unemployment in 60 years. Your financial system in its totality was about to collapse within 48 hours had not the administration reverted to using taxpayers' money to rescue vultures by using the assets of of the victims. Now, what? First of all, even when this was written, it wasn't going to collapse in 48 hours. All right? It wasn't going to. And the sooner that people realize this, the better. Now, it's also because Gen Zers and Gen Alphas overwhelmingly are, socialistic, which means, they're ignorant. Because socialism and communism do not work, and the sooner that they realize that, the better. So, let's keep on going. As for us, our Iraq was invaded in response to pressure from capitalists with greed for black gold, and you continue your support the oppressive Israelis in their occupation of our Palestine in response to pressure on your administration by a Jewish lobby lacked by the enormous financial capabilities. And this right here is why Gen Zers go ahead and they say that they support this man right there. Occupation of Palestine, even though Israel hasn't occupied Palestine since 2005. Now, if we keep on going and we talk about this, is that there's freaking dozens upon dozens of states that are Islamic, but there's only one Jewish state, and that is the one that supposedly is the one that's oppressive, the one that gives up land for peace. Guess what? Israel has tried to give up the Gaza Strip so many times to Egypt, and they don't even want it. So why do these people are like, oh, well, it's racist that Israel's doing it? Well, it's not. Israel is not, in fact, racist. Israel is the company, is the confinement of God. Israel is the confinement of all is good in the Western world. So what happened is that the Hebrews went ahead and they basically instilled all of our Judeo-Christian values into us. The Hebrews are the reason why the Western civilization is so great. But people in Gen Z and Gen Alpha don't want to hear that. All right, so an observer of the policies of The new administration realizes that the change is tactical and not strategic. It does not at all agree with the change you seek. There are very many indicators of this, especially concerning important matters related to our security and economy, particularly the ongoing war between us. The previous administration was successful in implicating you in these wars against us under the premise that they are necessary for your security, according to the promise that it would be short and would finish in 6 days or 6 weeks. 6 years have passed, and that the administration is gone without realizing the victory. The man calling for change promised you a victory in Afghanistan and set a time for our withdrawal. Before the end of the set time, Peterius from the previous administration came and asked for an extension of 6 more months. If it was the 6 Day War that started by President Bush in 6 years have not been enough to finish it, then the wise men should question how long would a 6 month war take, and whether you are able to fund a war that requires a large amount of money that has weakened your economy and your dollar. Well, here's the thing, all right? The war actually didn't weaken our economy. The war has actually strengthened our economy. But he's going to go ahead and he states this because he wants to instill fear into these people. Now, the only reason why the war took so long is because we are hunting down this man because of 9/11. Now, keep in mind, he keeps on going on and saying that, well, you bombed me, I bomb you, I do this, you do that. Tit for tat, blah, blah, blah. So, but the thing is that he attacked us on American soil. He went ahead and killed thousands in one day. This man shouldn't be revered by anyone, but yet Gen Z sees this man as a good man. They see this guy as someone that they should be agreeing with because they do not understand the state of the economy, the state of the country that we were in at this time. They don't understand that. Gen Zers have been raised to go ahead and hate the United States since they could take their first steps. All right? And that's just factual. Because if you go ahead and you look at these Gen Zers, especially between the 18 and like 24, 25 age groups, they go ahead and they tell you they do not like the United States. They think that the Muslim rule is better. When you go ahead and you tell them that, like, oh, under Muslim law, women wouldn't be allowed to do this, gays wouldn't be able to exist, they're like, oh, that doesn't sound good. But at the same time, because they are so ignorant and they were taught to hate the United States, these people will forever be wrong. And the sooner they realize that they are wrong and retract these statements, the better, because they will go ahead and figure out they will never get employment ever. They will not. Yeah. For Obama to leave 1/3 of the soldiers in Iraq, and the statements from his administration about this, especially from the Adorno, about the possibility of Obama's ordering the return of forces he took out of Iraq, it would have been better for him had he disagreed with the ethics of previous administration and adopted the truth as a friend and told you that he will not withdraw from Iraq, which may not serve the U.S. interest, but it is an interest of the large corporations. Have you not realized every single time the United States gets out of these war-torn countries, these countries that have terroristic ideals, another one rises. But, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they want to just go ahead and believe all is good in the world. Okay. The course of policies of the present administration in several areas clearly reveals that whoever enters the White House, even with good intentions or to safeguard the people's interests, is no more than a train operator. His only task is to keep the train on the tracks that are laid down by the lobbyists in New York and Washington to serve their interests first. Even if it is counter to your security and economy. Any president who tries to move the train from the lobbyists track to track for the American people's interests will comfort very strong opposition and pressures from the lobbyists. Your president described the decision by the courts in favor of corporations to intervene in the political arena as a victory, but it is not a victory for the American people except for the big corporations. There is no doubt about it that it is right, and it is also right for the administration to support the oppressive Israelis for the continued operation of our land and the killing of our brothers, marking a victory for the Jewish lobby. The president was not able to defend you against the security and economic loss. So, if you align with this person, if you think that this person is good, there is something wrong with you. All right? So, the Israelis are attacked every single time when this stuff happens. That doesn't sound like an oppressive regime to me. If they are the ones that are being attacked and then they have to go ahead and defend themselves because they just want to exist. They just want to exist, people. All right? That is not an oppressive regime. Friggin'. And also, defend you against the security and economic loss. Guess what? Having boots on the ground during this time in the Middle East was protecting the security of the American people. The way for change and freeing yourselves from the pressure of the lobbyists is not through the Republican or Democrat parties, but through the undertaking a great revolution for freedom. Not to free Iraq from Saddam Hussein, but to free the White House and to free Barack Hussein so he can implement the change you seek. It does not only include improvement of your economic situation and ensure your security, but more importantly, helps him in making rational decisions to save humanity from harmful greenhouse gases and to threaten its destiny. All right, folks, the silent part was said out loud right there. Okay, right there. Osama was not afraid of Obama, and we all knew this, right? We all knew this. Now, saying Barack needed to implement the change that you seek. Now, if we actually did that, the United States would no longer exist. And that's factual. Obama's economic policies that he was passing at the time and beyond were socialistic and what brought down this country. Now, the harmful greenhouse gases, guess what? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, that's where she gets it from. Right there. She gets it from right there. She does not care about you. She does not care about the American people and what they do. Guess what? These greenhouse gases do not threaten the destiny. Matter of fact, the United States, even back then, had one of the smallest carbon footprints in the entire world. And if you want to actually do change to get greenhouse gases to get lower, you got to go attack the countries that are actually implementing them. Do not say like, oh, first world countries, you got to do better. First world countries, their carbon footprint's less than 1%. less than 1%, like altogether. It's China and India that are the ones that are causing this. It's the people that you say that you praise that are the ones that are causing this damnation of our country. It is them. All right, ready? For the American youth to succeed in this change, they need to relive the history of their ancestors and the conditions in their country more than 2 centuries ago. They need to understand the similarities during the era and their present situation, especially in their fundamental conditions. The British Parliament sided with the corporations, then against the interests of the citizens. Except that's all wrong. The British Parliament did not side with the corporations. They didn't. You have noticed that Congresses stand with the corporations against the people's interest when they refuse to legislate against interference in elections by corporations. Lord. Now, interference of elections by corporations, that's actually happening. That is. But it's happening in a way that Osama supports it because it gives the left the standards that he would want to implement in the United States. The British military governor in the United States used to have the right to appoint judges and mayors. Similarly, the corporations is deep rooted in the higher authorities, thus giving authorities over the offices to corporations. Subsequently, the higher court adjudicated their support of the political financing by the corporations under such circumstances. False. People that go ahead and support this man, saying that his readings are true and saying that he has the best outlook for the American people, I swear, it's devastating. I cannot believe that these Gen Zers go ahead and they support this man. Okay, let's keep on going. Reading the book by the intellectual Thomas Paine helps your fathers in the revolution against the oppressors. No, it didn't. That's not what happened. That did not help them. They were going to go ahead and start a revolution no matter what. They were pissed off about the oppressive regime that was going on at the time, the one that Osama wants to have. It is useful for you to read it under the current similar circumstances. You are in need of the people like Thomas Paine to publish books pointing out the similarities between the two phases that will have similar effect. You are also in need of men with courage and initiative, like those of your forefathers at the time. Freaking, all right, that's how you can tell this guy sucks. At that time, freaking, at the time, when they refused to allow one company to harm the interests of the United States, a company that had a monopoly on tea and its prices. Oh my God. The Revolutionary War was not about tea. It was not about corporations. The idiocracy we're in, folks. Yet there are now many companies that endanger the United States economy, which continues to be the vulnerable to collapse, and they formulate the policies of the White House. No, they don't. No, they don't. Corporations do not. They just don't. Especially at this time, they did not. They threw hundreds of thousands of soldiers against us and have formed alliances with the Israelis to oppress us and occupy our land. That was the reason for our response on the 11th. The Israelis didn't want to occupy their land. They just want to go ahead and exist. That land was always theirs. They were there before any Muslim existed, before anyone considered themselves so-called Palestinian. It's the Hebrews' land, promised by God. Yeah, Palestine was under occupation for decades, and none of your presidents talked about it until September 11, when Bush realized that your oppression and the tyranny against us were part of the reason for the attack. Then he talked about the necessity for 2 states. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Bush didn't support a 2-state solution. Obama is trying to address the issue with the same solution suggested by his predecessor. They are quilting fruitless solutions, not too concerned to us. If you want a real statement that guarantees your security in your country and safeguards your economy from being depleted in a manner of similar to our war of attrition against the Soviet Union, then you have to implement a roadmap that returns the Palestine land to us, and all of it, from sea to the river. It is an Islamic land, not to subject of being traded or granted to any party. Right there, he does not want Jewish people to exist. He supports a mass genocide. But whatever, let's not talk about it. In conclusion, be assured that we do not fight for the killing, but to stop the killing of our people. The killing of your people would stop if your people would just put down their guns. It would. It's even more so true today. It is a sin to kill a person without proper justifiable cause, but terminating his killer is a right. You should be aware that justice is the strongest army and security offers the best livelihood. You lost it by your own making when you supported Israelis in occupying our land, killing our brothers in Palestine. The road to our safety starts with stopping of aggression. Palestine shall not be captive, for we will try to break its shackles. The United States shall pay for its arrogance with blood of Christians and their funds. Peace upon those who follow the righteous track. The blood of Christians. He will stop at nothing. Christians and Jews are not the problem. They are not. They have never been the problem. The problem is that our youth has been brainwashed. Our youth has been gotten to by the people that seek to destroy America. And that is the problem. That is the situation we are in, folks. That is what we are in to today. I mean, are you serious? Are we actually serious about supporting these people that go ahead and say, let's kill every single Jew, no matter what? So right there, That's what we needed to debunk. That man is insane, and it's insane that the youth is going ahead and they are supporting this man. The insanity that is going on. The insanity that this is getting supported is what is wrong. Okay. Now, while I work on getting some videos from the IDF up, let's look at some January 6th footage, everyone. This is from News Nation over on YouTube. This is a clip from their show. Oh. Okay.
Afternoon, as you know, a Friday afternoon before a holiday weekend, and that sometimes means a major news dump is on the horizon. And do we have one for you today? The House Speaker, Mike Johnson, announcing just a little while ago that all of the January 6th security tapes, surveillance footage in and around the U.S. Capitol from that day, is being made available to the public. Here's what he said as that was.
Why is it buffering?
Was released. Quote, I am keeping my promise to the American people and making all the January 6 tapes available to all Americans. Hello to you all on this Friday. Chris, Scott.
Before Thanksgiving week in the afternoon.
Look at these people.
To start thawing
they're
that bird.
so oppressive, aren't they, guys? Ready? Here's another one that has been going around, guys. Ready? Here we go.
Ford, when you see the House Speaker
right.
releasing this,
they
he says it's a promise,
this guy's handcuffs
promise
right
that he delivered upon. Is this good for Republicans? Basement of the White House when I was there, in the Hillary Clinton emails.
Yes.
And like every Friday before a
The
holiday,
guy's
it was like,
handcuffs
here we go. Here comes some more
trying to
Hillary Clinton
figure out
emails,
where
and
it's
bang,
at.
there they were. But Lauren Ford, when you see the House Speaker releasing this, he says it's a promise that he delivered upon. Is this good for Republicans? Like, why do they want this?
Yes, it's good for Republicans. It shows that the media was lying. They were lying about this being one of the worst days in American history. All right. We literally just had people walking around, as you can see, coming up here.
Who were in Capitol Hill, but they're far outnumbered by the violence and the pictures and the videos of police being attacked and police defending.
No, it's not. They're far outnumbered by the videos of this. No, it's not. There's 44,000 hours of footage that's getting released, and the majority of it is people just walking around. Just walking around.
Themselves. I don't know what they would be misled about, but Trump is going to argue that there were some peaceful demonstrators and perhaps.
Is that not peaceful right there? Is that not peaceful? People just walking around? Oh, I'm sorry. I guess peaceful is when you burn down the cities for an entire summer.
Perhaps the violent demonstrators really weren't his supporters, but perhaps some far left activists. I don't know.
Duh. Antifa was there. It's not a freaking thing that people didn't know about. Antifa was there.
No, but this doesn't help, and I think it hurts the GOP and Donald Trump.
Can you capture some of that sound?
No, it doesn't. It helps them even more. Like, this is Newsweek trying to make a mountain out of a freaking anthill. All right. That's just all that it was showing is people walking around. Walking around. But, that's the problem. They were walking around. They were doing it peacefully. Now the people that are saying that were there that said, hey, string up Mike Pence. I saw them. Yeah. They need to serve time. But the majority of the people that were there were not there to do that. This was start up by different organizations to go ahead and make sure that people do not have their freaking voices heard, to go ahead and divide the country, which it did, and they were successful. Yeah. All right. Okay, so here's some clips from the IDF over on TikTok. Get this.
I'm here in Gaza City. We are here next to.
This is a new Borat movie. That's hilarious. I am here right next to Gaza City. My name is Borat. I see the terrorists. Don't know why it's not playing though.
Gaza City. I'm here in Gaza City. We are here next to a house of a terrorist. His house is right next to a school. His house is 200 yards from the hospital of Rantisi. Next to his house, there is a tunnel. The tunnel is built with electricity. It goes down directly to the tunnel. The tunnel is let down more than 20 meters down. It's part of the same floor, and it slides down here. So it's a covered tunnel, so nobody can find it. This is Rantisi Hospital. Hamas used this hospital. I will show you the evidence. We are now in the area of the basement of the hospital. I want to show you a room where we found all the gear, the operational gear of Hamas. Hamas is using hospitals. Look at what Hamas is holding inside the hospital. This kind of gear is a gear for a major fight. These are explosives. It's a body vest for terrorists to explode on forces. Among hospitals, among patients, we have hand grenades, Kalashnikovs, and then we have the RPGs. People shooting RPGs from hospitals. This is Hamas firing RPGs for hospitals. The world has
And yet Israel's the one that's evil.
to understand who is Israel fighting against. We are now in the basement. And in this basement, we found a motorcycle. They were all used in the massacre of the 7th of October. They came back from the massacre into Rantisi Hospital with hostages on a motorcycle, a woman, clothes, and a rope next to the legs. And look above this, it's a baby bottle in a basement, above a World Health Organization sign. This is a suspicion for an area where hostages were being held. You don't need to build something improvisingly in a hospital in the basement. Unless you want to hold someone in the basement, we can see this area is a closed area from the rest of the hospital. We can see the ventilation air that was done improvisely to this area. And we can see infrastructures that was built in here, toilets, shower, a small kitchen, will provide the terrorists their needs. You're now entering into the room where we suspect the hostages were being held. People are putting curtains with nothing above, just wall. No reason to put here a curtain. I'm here in Gaza City. We are here next to a house.
Yeah, so they put curtains there because they were torturing people. And yet Israel and the West are the bad guys. All right, guys, this is a shorter episode than usual, but we had to go ahead and we had to debunk these Gen Zers. It honestly pisses me off that these people are going ahead and they're supporting this. So we're going to end off with our historical quote right now. So, all right. This one's from Amelia Earhart. There's more to life than being a passenger. There's more to life than being a passenger. Thank you all, and God bless.